All right, a pleasant good morning to you from Tony'sPicks.com, and welcome to Night Moves here for Sunday, December the 14th. We're ready to go here with our NFL action here for Sunday. Got a huge card here, a great card of NFL action on Sunday. We've also got NBA back in action here on Sunday with our another one of those makeshift schedules anyway, piecemeal the games here on Sunday. And also, we've got NHL action here as well tonight. And also, going to look at a college game or two. And of course, we've got great action on Saturday, didn't we? With the best game in the world. Army and Navy was just terrific there with the Army Navy game on Saturday. Really awesome game there. Yes, there's no doubt that, you might look at it as if, the gameplay isn't as good there, right? But still turns out to be a pretty awesome game. And was, of course, 17-16 there on Saturday. Navy drove down 50 yards, got the game-winning touchdown with 6:37 left, and then made the necessary stops. Under is now 18-2 in the last 20 games, so stayed under for sure, just as advertised there with Army and Navy. And we gave you the under here on Night Moves last night in that game. So Navy gets the win. It was a really good game. And of course, a bowl game last night as well. Washington took care of Boise 38-10 there in the very final LA Bowl. So Boise's quarterback got knocked out of the game there in the first half. Huskies led 24-3 at halftime. Williams, 4 touchdowns for Washington, and Boise failed to cover the spread in 5 bowl games in a row. So goodbye, LA Bowl. No one's going to miss you, I guess. No one's going to miss any of these bowls, I guess. I will. But this is what the fans want. Get rid of these bowls here. So it's just not great for bettors to have less options, that's for sure. But that's just the way it's going to be in the future. So, all right. Appreciate you guys coming in, joining me here. I'll wait for a few more people to get in. Maybe I talk real quick about the action here last night at the NBA Cup. We saw the two teams advance to the NBA Cup here on Tuesday, but we did have the final results here on Saturday with the semifinals. It was in the game Eastern Conference Finals in the NBA Cup with the New York Knicks defeating Orlando 132-120. The Knicks blew a lead there. Orlando kind of came back, and then in the end, though, the Knicks were the team that kind of pulled away there to earn that bid here for the finals. The finals is the only game. I may have stated incorrectly last night, just a slip of the tongue, because I had mentioned it earlier in the week. The finals do not count in the final regular season standings, but these games that we're going to play tomorrow and the next day kind of make up for the missed game that the teams have because of the scheduling there with the NBA Cup. Over in the Western Conference, a big upset. Oklahoma City loses for just the second time this season. They're 24-2 after the 111-109 victory. A great performance there by San Antonio to get the win as a dog. Yeah, we gave you the winner there in that one with we were on the over. Oh, we were on the over there. Didn't quite get over. What a line move, actually, on the over, wasn't it? When we were on the show here last night, the total was basically, 224.5? When the game, by morning, it was 233, but maybe that had to do with Wemby. We knew he was in. We told you Wemby was going to be in, and hey, he looked great. And so did San Antonio. They're going to play for the money against the New York Knicks. Pardon me. What a night with the UFC, final UFC on ESPN. But so it'll be the New York Knicks taking on the San Antonio Spurs in the NBA Cup. How about it there? And who do you like in that one between the Spurs and the Knicks? We've seen the line come out for the NBA Cup Finals. It's New York 2, maybe 2.5, total around 227.5, 228. So there you go, NBA Cup on Tuesday night at 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific time, and Wemby in there, of course. We'll see. The Knicks could be without Shamet, of course, he's out, and McBride also probably out now, but should be a good one on Tuesday night. And we're back in the NBA here on Sunday as well. We're going to preview the NFL card and get rolling here on the show. Thank you for joining me. See who's here. The members of the chat All-Stars, Timmy Chushu there, and Andre had a big day. And Timmy says the Spurs did it, LOL, and SF Niner likes Lons in a French game tomorrow. And I'm waiting for the Big Bash League to start here this season in 15 minutes. Anybody up for a little Big Bash League? All right. Hey, might as well get into it, get into the NFL action here. I want to hear from you in the chat with some of these games. A big card tomorrow here on Sunday. Let's get rolling with this one. It's going to take a few minutes to get through these games, huh? But got to do it. It's going to be a great day of NFL. We got 8 games on the early slate, 5 in the afternoon. We get through those buys, and all of a sudden we've got big-time games and some clunkers as well. But, hey, we're going to cover them all right here on Night Moves. All right, there's Kevin in the chat. Here we go. Let me bring up the graphic for our show that I'm supposed to bring up here. Still kind of getting used to it. There we go. All right, I'm ready to go here right now with the games. Here we go. The Arizona Cardinals are on the road here on Sunday, taking on the Houston Texans. Texans a 10.5 point favorite in this one. Total 42.5. Texans here, really putting their stamp on things now. They're up to 8-5 with this winning streak that they're on right now. It's been a good ride. We knew the Texans had a pretty good defense, and now they've actually been able to come through on offense. It does help that Nico Collins has been healthy and in the lineup and staying healthy, it feels like right now for Nico, doesn't it? And also, you got Arizona here. They're on a massive losing streak right now. That's been a big problem here. Cardinals are losing them all at this point. Big losing streak coming in. You have one team that's red hot and one team that's ice cold right now. Cardinals aren't even covering any spreads. They got the money against Tampa Bay a couple games back, but coming off the big loss there by 28 points to LA last time out. Meanwhile, you got a team like Houston coming in here, winning and covering like nobody's business. Of course, beat the Chiefs and covered, beat the Colts and covered, beat the Bills and covered. Yeah, they didn't cover against Tennessee, laying 5.5, but they covered against Jacksonville. Houston is just 7-6 against the spread this season. Should be noted, the Cardinals 5-1 against the spread on the road. Can they get enough offense though to kind of keep that going here in this matchup? I mean 10.5 points. It's nothing. You're not going to maybe leave it behind, but can you get what you need with Jacoby Brissett in there with Stroud kind of heating up here? It feels like of late, but that's an impressive mark for sure. That 5-1 ATS record on the road for the Cardinals, where they're usually getting plenty of points, and Brissett's been able to keep them in within the spread here a little bit. We know overall they're just 3-10 coming in, 1-9 straight up as an underdog, and Houston on a roll here for sure right now. See what you guys maybe do in this one with the Cardinals on the road here, taking on the Texans. Cardinals have lost 10 of their last 11. Can't tell you anything otherwise. Houston, meanwhile, won its last 5 games here by a combined 28 points. So doing pretty good in those. Houston pretty bad as a home favorite, 8-16 against the spread. They're also 9-16 against the spread in non-conference games. Last 10 games, though, man, the Texans have been very opportunistic, plus 15 in turnovers here for the Cardinals. They've lost their 5-game losing streak here right now, but they do have some very positive numbers. 10-2 against the spread as a road underdog, 24-18 against the spread last 41 off a loss ATS, and 9-4 ATS last 13 against AFC competition. So, yeah, I'm just going to have to take the Cardinals here in this one and figure they'll look. Houston's doing a great job. I don't know if they have a killer instinct necessary to go out and blow out a team here with such as maybe Arizona in this one. I don't have a lot to sell you on with Arizona, but at least you got Trey McBride in there for sure. So Bam Knight's going to be in there. DeMercado, we'll have to see what his status is coming in, but I'd rather have Bam in there anyways. So see what you have in the chat. If you guys want to make a pick here with me, let me know. See here, I think DeMercado, he is probable in that game. Okay, he is probable. Christian Jones, offensive lineman for Arizona, he is probable here as well. For Houston, they got Woody Marks probable in here. Jamal Hill, the linebacker, probable. Harrison Bryant probable as well. Nick Chubb doubtful for the Texans, but that's not going to worry the Texans too much with Woody going here. All right, let's go in the chat. I'm going to take the Cards in this one, plus the points. All right, let's see here. Texas win, Cardinals to cover, too many points. Cardinals for Cal Dog. Here's Timmy. He likes Nico for a TD. And maybe Timmy says maybe Stroud will have a rough one, though. Even the Rams could have trouble now and then, he says. All right, I'm taking the Cardinals here in this one. All right, next up, the Raiders are going into Philadelphia. And just a little trick up the old sleeve here, Pete Carroll and company going into this one. They've decided that they're going to start Super Bowl champion Kenny Pickett here in this one for the struggling Raiders. Now the Eagles have lost 3 straight here as well, but the Raiders are, losing every game. Philadelphia with consecutive losses here to Dallas, Chicago, and the Chargers. Kind of a tough schedule there. But the Raiders have been losing to everybody. They did get the money, though, last time against Denver, getting 8.5 as a 7-point dog. And Kenny Pickett gets the start. I mean, I think he's going to be pretty familiar with the Eagles, maybe a little bit familiar with the defense as well. So, look, is it an upgrade from Geno right now? Is it a different type of quarterback going in there when you have Kenny Pickett starting in this game? I mean, you're not really going to say it's an upgrade necessarily from Geno. I get that, but they can get a little bit of a running game established here and maybe get to Brock Bowers. It's just that Philadelphia is so good against tight ends. And likewise, the Raiders, the one thing they do well is defend against tight ends. Goddard will have his work cut out for him today, but could be a good day for the running backs here in this game for both teams. Right now, I know that total. I feel like there's a lot of public pressure to the under with the total here in this one because of the Eagles' woes on offense. And hey, if you have less than Geno, what do you really have here for the Raiders? But maybe just the familiarity of Pickett coming in here in this one. It feels like the Raiders at getting this many points. That might be kind of maybe the way to go. Now, I think this line could move a little higher with the public. So I'm actually going to go here probably with the total in this one between the Raiders and the Eagles. Now, Raiders are 2-4 to the under on the road. The Eagles are 2-4 to the under at home. But I'm going to go over in this one at 38.5. And I think the Raiders may have surprising success with Pickett in there at quarterback, getting it to Bowers. Now, like I said, it is tough against Philadelphia with your tight ends, but we've seen some good things out of Trey Tucker right now, and we'll see Besh as well in there. So, the Raiders don't have great offense. We know that. Genty really hasn't been what they've needed here, but I'm going to go ahead and try this one over the total here on Sunday between the Raiders and the Eagles. Let's see if the chat, anybody agree, or
Final.
Who do you guys like in this one? How about Pinero to go over in his field goals? Cal Dog says with the Raiders, you get those backdoor covers. Now the Raiders are 5-8 against the spread this season, 2-4 against the spread on the road. Eagles are pretty much a 50-50 proposition as a home favorite. Short term anyway here in the last couple of games this season anyway, but long term maybe a little bit different results for these two teams. Let's see here, SF Niner says he would take the Raiders. How about Brown, TD? You don't know. Really, with Brown and Smith, which guy's going to get the more? It feels like which guy's going to get more targets. All right, for the Raiders here, let's see. 5-9 against the spread. Last 14 as a road dog. 13-17 ATS. Last 31 off of a loss. Eagles, meanwhile, 4-10 ATS. Last 14 off of a loss, but 10-7 ATS. Last 17 against non-conference competition. Over for Cal Dog. Raiders and Eagles over here for Andre. He says Pickett can play well. Anything's better than Chino. I don't necessarily disagree with that right now. Hertz has is it a rag arm? Is it a hot dog arm, SF Niner? Cake, is Genty going to get it going here? Brock over in his reception, says Andre. And yes, expecting cold conditions there, I think. Is that it? In the game there in Philadelphia, 28 degrees, but just partially sunny there. Winds 13 or 14 miles an hour. No treacherous weather, I don't think. I'm going to take the over in this one of the Raiders and the Eagles. All right, the Jets are going to take on the Jags here. Action for Sunday. The Jets are 3-10 coming in. The Jacksonville Jaguars are 9-4. They've won 4 straight and taken control of their own destiny, if you know what I mean. Jacksonville 5-1 ATS at home this season. 4-1 ATS is a favorite. Jets are actually a decent cover despite that dismal 3-10 record. The Jets are 7-4 against the spread as an underdog this season, and we've only seen this one kind of go up after the Jets decided to start Brady Cook in here at quarterback on Sunday, mostly out of necessity, but Cook's bided his time here for the rookie and gets his start. Did play last game, 163 yards, but threw 2 interceptions against Miami. So yeah, it's going to be a little bit difficult here for sure. Jacksonville just on a roll right now. What more can you say about these guys here at this point and playing some of their best ball? But they don't strike you as a team that necessarily is a great cover. However, they have been doing the job this season, even as a favorite. So maybe they will continue to roll here right now. But 2 touchdowns, does sound a little bit dicey. Jacksonville is 2-4 to the under at home this season. Also, for Jacksonville coming in here, they're 2-3. ATS is a favorite. 2-3 to the under as a favorite. The Jets are 7-4 to the over as an underdog coming into this one. Jacksonville's allowing just 13 points per game in those last 4 games, and when they get any kind of defense, they're pretty strong. They are 18-14, last 32 against the spread, coming in off of a win. Jets, meanwhile, 5-9 ATS. Last 14 as a road dog. Look at that lightning at the. We got a rain delay at the Big Bash League here. I was waiting all night for this, and there's a rain delay. Jets are minus 15 in turnovers this season. Maybe Brady Cook can try to clean that up, but like I said, he did give it up there last time as well. So I'm going to take the under in this one. I don't know if the Jets are going to score enough. Maybe Jacksonville will threaten it, but I'm going to go under in this one with the Jets and the Jaguars here on Sunday. Your picks here in the chat: Jets win. Jags win. Jets cover for Andre. ATNTD for Andre as well. Jimmy says the Jets will cover somehow, and he has Lawrence to score a touchdown. All right, the Cleveland Browns are going to take on the Chicago Bears in the classic matchup. Cleveland coming here 3-10 right now with consecutive losses. Shedeur Sanders has looked pretty great, but the most important stat for a quarterback is to win. Browns are just 1-5 against the spread on the road this season. Meanwhile, you got the Bears here. They've been covering of late. A little bit of a good streak here for the Bears. They are 6-3-1 in their last 10 games overall, 7-5-1 this season overall against the spread. Let's hear from you in the chat if you'd like. The Bears are 6-3-1 to the over in their last 10. They're 3-2 to the over as a favorite, but the Browns are 4-6 to the under as an underdog. Browns have consecutive losses to the 49ers and to the Titans. They didn't cover, of course, getting points in those. Meanwhile, the Bears lost to the Packers last week. Remember, it landed 6.5. Maybe some people got 7, but it landed right on that number pretty much on the side. And the Bears had their win streak ended by the Packers last week. Still, Cleveland's lost 13 of their last 14 games on the road. They're just 5-14 ATS in their last 19 overall, and the Bears are 8-3 against the spread in their last 11 coming in. That's Browns here have gone over in 5 of their last 7. Let's hear what you guys have in the chat in this one. And Cal Dog likes the Browns here. He also likes the over in this one. Andre says Bears money line. They win by 3. Browns cover with Caleb and Shedeur throwing interceptions. I'm going to take the Browns here in this one, plus 7.5. I'm going to just keep trusting Sanders to be a competitive quarterback is what I think we're going to see from him, at least for now. I think he will stick with the Browns. I know the talk there about Deshaun Watson here coming back next year, but if you've seen this much promise in Sanders, you're going to have to roll the dice here right now a little bit, play him at the end of the season and see how it goes. Because certainly anybody, there are moments where you're like, this guy does do some things that not all quarterbacks can do. The challenge is, the decision making and what he has to work with too, it feels like. All right.
Major line move.
Browns defense play. That's another big factor. The Browns will put you in position to make you successful too. Sometimes we say, when the quarterback's back or in there, that makes everybody better. The defense gets a better field position to play defense on. But here, I think it kind of goes the other way a little bit. That defense helps Sanders out. All right, next up, we got the big one of the day here with the Buffalo Bills taking on the New England Patriots in this one. Buffalo here on the road. They are a 1-point favorite right now, and the total here, 49. Buffalo comes in 9-4. New England 11-2, of course, on a pretty good winning streak right now.
Final.
The Patriots having won 10 games in a row, 8-2 against the spread in their last 10. Buffalo's failed to cover in 5 straight meetings against the Patriots here. Now, Buffalo has won 5 of their last 7. And 6 of the last 9 meetings between these two teams have gone over, with the Patriots are 4-1. ATS is an underdog. It's pretty closely rated. I don't know if that's even a valid statistic here, even though the Bills are 1 or 1.5. They are the slight favorite for sure. Buffalo 4-7 ATS as a favorite. They are 3-3 ATS on the road. New England 4-3 ATS at home. Buffalo just 1-5 ATS on the road here so far this season. Meanwhile, New England 4-3 ATS at home. I've got the New England Patriots to win this game over Buffalo. I like New England here. I have New England to be the AFC representative in the Super Bowl this season. So I think this is an important game to solidify that position. Buffalo's the one thing you can give Buffalo, I mean, they are scrambling here for the playoffs. And who would have thought that? You'd think they'd be, working for position here, trying to make sure they get a home game. I mean, that's where that's where they were for the first several weeks of the season, right? But it's all been a little bit different now. 9-4 record. No one's going, but they're in 6th place. I mean, they're not going to win this division against the even if they win this game, it's going to be hard pressed to come all the way back. The Patriots seem that solid right now. They're 2 games back here with 4 games to go, so that's very, very difficult. Now the Buffalo Bills are going to the playoffs. Don't worry about that. But I'm going to take New England here. This one means they're battling the Broncos. The Broncos play later in the afternoon. The Bills, I'm not saying that they can lose and still make it. You do want to try to make sure you stay out of the 7th position, but most likely they're in no matter what. I actually think New England's got a little bit more to play for, even though the perception is that the Bills are playing, or because they're in 6th place. But they're kind of in here right now, I believe. They're not going to, even if they lose this one, I think that the schedule's okay for them. I'm going to take New England in this one. Like I said, I've got New England. They're my team in the AFC right now. I think they did some things earlier this season that only teams that go to Super Bowls do. Here we go with some picks from you guys. Drake May to go over in his passing yards here. How about, let's see, Cook. What do we got here? Cook, TD. What happened to Cook last week? They were giving me a hard time on that show. What happened to Cook last week, right? What happened to Cook last week? Dalton Kincaid. Oh, he's got a good match. Where's that Andre comment? Yeah, Dalton Kincaid's got a real good matchup here in this one. And got him for a TD there. Yeah, don't mind that. And don't forget about that weather. It's just going to be there's cold and maybe some type of snowy precipitation there. Nearly a 50% chance. It will clear up later in the game. Final. They say, Drake May, playing his football there at Carolina really hasn't faced these kind of cold conditions like Josh Allen. Well, I'll give you that right now, but to me, it's Buffalo defense that's letting these guys down. And look, I think the Patriots defense is far better than Buffalo's, to be honest, or at least in my opinion. But this one, I don't know, it's a pretty high total. Here we go. Let's see. Toss up first half. Bills first half here for Cal Dog. Bills definitely give up a lot of big plays. And look, Diggs. How about Booty? Booty's been a revelation here a little bit. He had a good game last time. Remember, he had been injured there a little bit. But hey, as long as we can get him to shake his booty and get into the end zone, last week, 5 receptions. Five targets, 4 receptions, and a touchdown. Shake, shake, shake. Diggs over in his receiving yards. He's so covered, it's tough for him to get and there's no doubt Diggs attracts a lot of attention, but this is a great situation for him. Not this game. I'm just talking about being in New England. I think it's good. And you got also Demario Douglas has been getting in there and getting action each week. He's very consistent, a very reliable target. Hunter Henry has been a revelation for Drake May. Unfortunately, the Bills are probably number one against tight ends, so we'll see. It makes it a risky play here against Buffalo. His previous game against Buffalo, 4 targets, 2 receptions for 46 yards. He is coming on, though, but Buffalo does pretty well against tight ends. How about May for an anytime touchdown, says that best Niner? Uh, Andre says Patriots plus the points. Andre will take those receptions, though, with Henry over. Henderson over and Curry. Yeah, look, this is one of the best matchups in the game will be the Patriots running game against the Buffalo defense with Henderson and with Stevenson. We've seen Stevenson getting more action as well here of late. It feels like he's kind of catching up. Remember, Henderson kind of fell, or Stevenson kind of fell out of sorts a little bit, and they were going more with Henderson with those spectacular plays, but over the last couple of games now, it's been Stevenson that's kind of climbing back up here. Of course, he was out for 3 games, remember. So Ramondre healthy here, and he's getting more action. So I think it's the best matchup in the game for me. Dalton Kincaid, for sure. He'd be a player that I'd look for in the props, but also Henderson and Stevenson are probably my other favorite players. Diggs is happy here, right? All right. I'm taking the Patriots. Okay, we've got an NFC North situation here with the Ravens taking on the Bengals. Like I said, I mean, it does feel uncomfortable that Cincinnati's got their quarterback in here who is injury prone and, putting him in there. Look, if anything, the Ravens need to kind of have their ears pinned back. Even if they win, they're not going to be a 50% chance to go to the playoffs. They've lost 2 in a row here coming in to these Bengals. Remember, 32-14 just back on November 27th. Bengals are 3-3 against the spread at home. Baltimore is 4-7 against the spread as a favorite here. Baltimore's been struggling, man. That defense, look, you thought it would be a little bit better. And yes, when Jackson came back, it did make it a little bit better. You have basically here, with Burrow back in there, Jackson in there, and both these teams maybe not heading for the postseason does make it kind of, what are we doing here? But I think the Burrow has a little bit more momentum, it feels like, coming in here. Baltimore's failed to cover in 4 straight games. Cincinnati's covered in 3 straight games right now, including that 32-14 win over Baltimore. I think Cincinnati's in a great position here, actually. And look at this total at 52. You got to be kidding me. It's going over. It's probably going over. The Bengals can't stop anybody. They're garbage. And that's been Baltimore's problem, even when Jackson came back. And I've said it, hey, Jackson's back and it makes the defense that much better, but it just hasn't worked out for the Ravens here. These two teams are a combined 16-10 to the over this season. Baltimore's 7-4 to the over as a favorite. The Bengals are 5-1 to the over at home. I like the over in this one. I'm going to go over 52 here, but you heard me, man. You know which side I like in this one. I don't want to see Joey B out there, but he's although the fair point is, concerning comments this week from Joey B, basically feeling down on himself because this team isn't going anywhere. He can't stay healthy because of not only the crappy defense that Cincinnati has, but the woeful offensive line year after year. Anthony Munoz ain't walking through that door. And so Joey said some things this week, almost sounded like he wanted to retire, but I guarantee you, if you put him on a team here, could he find his way? Could he somehow leave Cincinnati? He does not want to be here anymore because it seems bleak. It doesn't seem like the Bengals are ever going to fix this situation. And Joey at a crossroads in his career here, coming off injury after injury, getting clobbered. And if you just put him on, man, could you imagine Joey B on any team with a decent offensive line at all and a couple of targets? You think he's good now, right? So I think you know where I'm headed here with this one. I'll take the over. It's going to be a little bit of crapshoot volatility for sure, but the Bengals still have to cover a field goal. That's going to be pretty tough in itself. A team that can't even win right now, and they've failed to cover in 4 straight games. See what you have in the chat here. In this one, Ravens win, but Bengals cover. Man, Andre's got it in a tight one. Cincinnati for Timmy Two-Shoe. Oh, is it Ocho Cinco? What are they honoring him or something? Here's Cal Dog on the over at 52. We're doing it, right? We're doing it. How about Derrick Henry to get 2 touchdowns? You know, there is an argument to be made that Henry also might be seeing the sign on the wall, so to speak. Not that Derrick Henry isn't going to be in there and really give it his all right now, but maybe for the time being, but if they fall behind at all, watch out. If the Ravens fall behind in the game, it could cave in a little bit, especially with the Bengals at home, and this is all they're playing for here. Let's see. Yoshi Boss here for Timmy Two-Shoe. All right. Yeah. I mean, I love the matchup for Yoshi Boss. Love the matchup for Jamar Chase. I think those are 2 of the best plays on here. I think Mark Andrews is a strong play for Baltimore here. And likely, what's going to happen with likely? I mean, is he going to have to move on here from this one? Even Kolar's been getting some activity. You expect a lot of points here. Also, Henry, I think he'll get his. I think he will eat here in this game. So, but I'm going to look to Jamar. I'm going to look to Yoshi Bosch. Ravens will go after Burrow's toe. Get that toe. Okay. Hey, all right. My Chargers are a 5.5 point underdog at the Chiefs. Are the bookmakers not watching the games here right now? No, I get it. This is it. The Chiefs, I mean, come on. If they weren't eliminated technically or for all intent and purposes last week, well, I mean, what are we doing here? They have right now a 15% chance of making the playoffs. The Chargers still would like to keep winning here. They're 9-4. They're probably a Chargers fan. You might know that. They're probably the worst 9-4 team I've ever seen, but hey, I'm happy that they're in position here and doing a great job. And come on, getting 5.5 points from the Chiefs. I mean, that sounds like plenty because I figure this is going to be a pretty low-scoring game, man. There's no doubt that Herbert has been getting smacked around pretty good here right now. I mean, he is getting beat up here, and I'm sure we're going to see a little bit more of that again. But I think the Chargers are probably good enough to at least stay here within this one. Now, Pipkins, he's doubtful here after leaving the game there last week. But they have here, let's see, we know get these latest offensive lineman injuries here a little bit and see if the Chargers will have enough to go up against these guys. Oh, so Quentin Johnson here questionable as well for the Chiefs. You got Trey Smith is out. Hollywood Brown is going to be out. Jawan Taylor is out. Wanya Morris, remember, he left the game there on the primetime game the other night. He's been out. My man Josh Simmons, pretty good rookie year for Simmons. I think he will pay off in the end. I think he will be a long-term solution for the Chiefs at tackle. I expect him to be a very, very strong player. He's out of this game. I'm just looking ahead to the future for the high draft pick here of the Chiefs, Josh Simmons this year, the rookie there. So I'm going to take 5 points with my Chargers here in this one. I think, probably look at a game where pretty low scoring as usual. Like I said, I'm one that always have been looking to the Chiefs, looking to unders with the Chiefs. They play a lot of unders, no matter what you think about Mahomes and they're struggling targets. Obviously, Kelsey, this feels like it. Even if we want to make fun of him as fans and say retire Kelsey, you do hear his quotes every week kind of saying, yeah, maybe it is time. here. So Chiefs have been struggling. Chargers have been playing well. There's no doubt. Chargers have won a couple in a row here, despite their offensive line woes and getting beat up. They beat Philly. They beat the Raiders. Okay, they lost to Jacksonville, got crushed in that game. I thought they would play well in that game, and they didn't. So hopefully we'll get a repeat here of that. But you could say that Jacksonville's playing better than Kansas City right now. Kansas City hasn't covered a spread in over a month here, coming in off of losses to Dallas and Houston here right now. Kansas City, this is where they're struggling here to even come close, it feels like, in some of these games. So I'll go ahead and take the Chargers at 5.5, but maybe more so. I might be more interested in the total when all is said and done. But the Chiefs have failed to cover in 5 straight. They've gone under in 7 of their last 8. 4 of the last 5 meetings between these two teams have gone under. The Chargers have lost 7 of the last 8 meetings to the Chiefs overall, but they have covered 4 of their last 6 and won 5 of their last 6 straight up. So let me try the Chargers here. They are 2-0 against the spread as an underdog this season, despite all those kind of negative trends, but they are 1-4 ATS on the road. So you got to kind of weigh it there. Chiefs are 4-7 ATS as a favorite, but 4-3 ATS at home. So Chiefs have been winning this thing every time until that meeting back in September when the Chargers won 27-21. You could throw that game out because of the venue, but still, because that was the game, remember, in Brazil. But 5.5, that's good enough for me in an NFL football game with Justin Herbert. He might, as long as he doesn't die in the game. All right, here we go. And Chiefs and Reed are mad. They're going to smack Herbert. You know what? I think this is why the line might be as high as it is, and maybe they will. But it's not going to change the fortunes of the Chiefs. I don't think they're going to turn it around here and make the playoffs, even with a win. So, if this is their Super Bowl, so be it here. But I thought it was supposed to be last week against Houston, trying to spoil them because they needed it at that time too, and came up with a 10 spot at home. Now, Houston's defense is better than the Chargers. We know that. Jones could have 2 sacks, says Andre. Hunt for a touchdown. Pacheco over in his rushing receiving. Andre obviously has the Chiefs in a big one here. Cal Dog says the Chiefs just don't cover. They just don't cover. Cal Dog, right? I mean, this one, guys, it could easily be 24-21 here. That might be too high. How about it might be 20-17, something like that. Chiefs win, Chargers cover, says Andre. Hampton in to the end zone, says Andre here. I think we're from what we've seen, and Vidal was still getting carries, but I hope they're just not rewarding him, because to me, when you see Hampton right now in that first game, remember he's only been back for that one game. When they gave him that ball on that kind of that sweep, when he gets ahead of steam running with speed along the outside, I don't think there's a lot of backs with his size and speed that can kind of get to the outside like that. And it makes it tough on support tacklers there trying to come up from the secondary if the corners or the safeties are coming up to try to make those tackles. Pat Mahomes might be banged up. I don't know. But again, the Chiefs have had offensive line issues too. One thing we've seen in all these, what we've seen? Penalty. Andre likes the under. All right. How about Rice here, says Timmy Two Shoe. No, I don't like the matchup actually for Rice. In fact, I think the Chiefs, to me, my favorite play in the game is probably going to be Ladd McConkey. I know I struck out with him last week. Anybody who follows me knows I thought McConkey was set up. I said, Ladd or Ladd? Yeah, you could have laddered him down. I mean, he was practically a no-show last week with 1 reception for 12 yards. I'm going to take my chances again probably here in this one and say that Ladd is probably my favorite play in this game in this one. And I'll have some props over at Tony'sPicks.com for the NFL games. I'm really focused on the props here as my featured coverage at Tony'sPicks.com. Not coming in with many sides and totals on some of these primetime games. I think the value in the props, and again, I think that, I would keep the costs down a little bit on those packages because we know the limits are a little bit less, but you still got to get off a good amount on these props when we're giving them out here on these packages. And I'm going to be going at it here for sure with that Vikings Cowboys game tonight. And Timmy says Herbert going to be targeting with Johnston here coming in with that questionable tag in this one. Yeah, for me right now, I am showing Johnston still as questionable. We're going to have to wait for the morning reports here to see if he makes the game here in this one. He did not practice on Friday. So it's never a good sign, of course, when they appear on the injury report late in the week, suggesting that the injury, if it was a groin injury, so I know they were talking about it, that he had it, but it feels like it got worse in a practice here. All right. Well, hey, we got to preview them all here on Night Moves, so why not? The Commanders coming in here with their 3-10 record. The Giants come in 2-11. Both of them haven't won in over a month or longer with these two, but someone's got to win this game. And well, maybe it comes down to who's got the worst defense. I think that'd be Washington. Washington's lost 8 in a row. The Giants have lost 7 in a row, but got Jackson Dart coming in here now. Looks like Daniels isn't going to make that lineup. The elbow injury was re-injured. Apparently not any, wasn't a thing where he could go out there and do some permanent damage, I guess. So just not going to be able to go here, and you're going to have more Mariota. So to me, I'm going to think this is going to be Jackson Dart's game, man. I'm going to take the Giants here in this game. We can break it down a little bit, but I'm not going to go too long on this crummy game. I think this is a Jackson Dart's game here. I think the season's over for these guys. We know it, but I think at least we might have one day of Jackson Dart here right now. Washington's lost 7 of their last 8 games coming in. We know the Giants here have gone over in 7 of their last 8. I mean, I get it. I know that they've given up a lot, but look, Washington is 4-9 ATS overall, 1-5 ATS on the road, 2-8 ATS as an underdog. The Giants here, they're favorites for the first time this season. They're 3-2 against the spread at home. They've also gone over here in 8 of 13 games this season. Washington is 2-4 to the under on the road, but I like the Giants. Probably should take the money line. I'm not going to do that on this show. I'm going to take the spread, but I look, when you got 2 crummy teams, I don't blame you if you want to if you are following or tailing me and you want to go money line, maybe even I should do it. But hey, on these shows, I'm trying to give you what I think is the strongest opinion. I think the Giants have a better chance of covering this number than the Commanders do right now. That's for sure. Mostly, hey, no problem with the Mariota. He's come in and done an okay job in some of these games, but look, they got shut out by Minnesota last week. We were all over Minnesota there, but they got zeroed, okay, against the Vikings here. So you got to think the Giants should be able to handle this one. Giants here at consecutive covers against the Bears, Packers, and Lions. And they did lose to the Patriots by 18. They weren't awful in that game there for a while. They were kind of hanging in there, but I think it just showed the prowess of the Patriots in the end. And, they were also competitive against the Giants, even though that was rated as a close game at home, remember, but a little bit too much CMC in that one. But I got to take the Giants to win this game, man. Give me the Giants for sure. And, I held the bag this year. I thought Washington would be better. I thought Daniels, I don't think he was a flash in the pan, but it's been an injury-plagued season. And Andre says, you're right, Andre, the Chargers defense, and they came up big last week. How about Tony Jefferson? This guy was retired, basically, and he made the interception, but he gave credit where credit is due to his teammate who deflected the ball. And remember, that player had basically gotten burned a couple of times in the game. So let's see here. On the Commanders and the Giants there. Sorry about that. Giants for Andre here. I just can't help myself with the Chargers. Uh, Dart the kamikaze, right? As long as Dart doesn't die in the game, Andre says Giants. Daniels need to sit this season out and come back. Yeah, that was it, right? When he injured that elbow, man, and it looked bad at first, right? Like it was a broken elbow or something, but just dislocated. Maybe tried to come back a little too soon. You don't have to do that nowadays, right? You're still going to get paid. You have nothing to prove. Mariota's not taking your job. Lawrence, Mahomes, and Dart as rushers. All right. Yeah, Andre says kind of like RG3, right? Yeah, I think Daniel's a little bit better than RG3 in the end, don't you? All right, we can spin it up on that one. I'm on the Giants for sure as my play here on Night Moves. All right, gang. This is it. Everyone's so hey, you would look and say a 14-point game. I don't want to see it. But this might be like a car wreck or a train derailment or something. You're gonna want to see this. You're gonna want to see this through. Maybe, just maybe. My man Philip Rivers. All right, I'll admit it. I'm a huge Rivers fan. You know that I'm going to be a huge Rivers fan, and I know what we're getting in with 44-year-old Philip Rivers. I get it. He's not going to probably be any different than the last time he took the field in the NFL. He was terrific, actually. He was playing, if you remember, the Buffalo Bills in that pandemic game, and there was just too much Josh Allen and not enough defense. Philip Rivers was pretty good in that game. Walked off the field for the last time, he thought, at the time. And the Colts have these problems here, right, with the 3 straight losses because of the injury to Danny Dimes here right now. Hey, who's better, Philip Rivers or Danny Dimes? Okay, let's not go too far. Danny Dimes still probably a little bit better, but Philip Rivers is not going to look lost out there. Is he going to could he get chased down by the awesome Seahawks defense? Probably. He goes, hey, well, I'm not going to outrun anybody anyways. Does Philip Rivers know how to do things like get rid of the ball? I mean, there's no more cerebral quarterback probably maybe in league history than Philip Rivers. That's why he succeeded the way he did. He knows the rules of the game, if you will, and look, he's been coaching high school football here for the last few years. His son, Gunnar Rivers, there. And the other thing is, they talked about the relationship with Rivers and Colts quarterback Riley Leonard. Leonard, he is a little hurt. Maybe he is, but it wouldn't hurt Riley Leonard to sit here and take a few more notes, just one more time for a few weeks from Philip Rivers. Now, both guys, Philip is coaching football down there, living in Fairhope, Alabama. Where's Riley Leonard? He's in Fairhope, Alabama. Philip Rivers has the Field of Dreams out there outside of his house in the backyard, the 50-yard field. Did you see it on the Gruden TikTok or reel where the 50-yard field, and that's where Philip brings his, guys like Riley Leonard, guys like his son, quarterbacks, team, players to throw to. And he says, look at the corn growing out there like the Field of Dreams. But Philip Rivers knows what he's doing. It's unfortunate he's going up against this great defense like the Seattle Seahawks. But remember, the Colts, we're not throwing away the season here on the Colts, right? If anything, maybe because of the fact that they've had to try to go through with some of these other quarterbacks once Jones went down, that's kind of hurt them a little bit, and they've fallen out here. But this is a last-ditch effort. If they win this game, they're still going to have 50% chance of making the playoffs. Being in third place in that AFC South here, but still you're basically have the same record as the Texans. Yeah, Texans have the leg up on them for sure right now, but I think Philip gives them a chance to stay in this game here. Philip, if there's any kind of backdoor situation, Philip is bound to find it. We're not going to fault the Colts here at all for what they've accomplished, right? I mean, they've had a heck of a season. Hopefully they don't. I mean, I don't know who they're going to replace in the playoffs. They're probably not going to make it, but they were having a pretty good season with some pretty good players all over the place, right? From uh, in the receiving game, of course, Jonathan Taylor as well in the backfield. Now, look, Seattle's top 5 rushing defense. They'll probably be able to clamp down on Pittman and Downs and Pierce, but those are some pretty good targets if Phillip can get them to them. We know Pittman can go, and Pierce has been on fire here of late. I'd almost take the Colts receiving core over. Now, look, JSN is the best. We know that. He's a record setter here. He's trying for the NFL record, but Cooper Kupp is, maybe benefited from JSN, but he hasn't done much. Rashid Shaheed finally ran a kickoff back, but he hasn't really done as much, in the passing game, although he did get off last game. But again, it was the kickoff return that he had that was really spectacular. Ty Warren has a great matchup here against the Seahawks. This is one area where they do kind of struggle. I've got them in probably the bottom 8 against tight ends. Philip Rivers knows how to use a tight end. So I think Ty Warren is probably my favorite player on the Colts here in the prop game on Sunday. Meanwhile, for Seattle, look, as long as Darnold can get off here, he has a great situation with JSN to have a strong game. And also watch out for A.J. Barner here, the tight end for the Seahawks. He's going to be sneaky here, and I think you're going to want to look to him in the props here in this one. But for me, I'm going to take the over in this one. I'm trying to sell you on the Colts. I know it's hard, so maybe I could just sell you on the over here that Phillip can get his. And there's no doubt, great defense for Seattle. Maybe they will clam down. Maybe they'll crush Phillip and send him back to Fairhope, Alabama. But Philip Rivers is going to be the quarterback of this team if they and maybe even for another week, but until they're officially eliminated or so, and then you bring in Riley Leonard, right? You send Phillip back home. Thank you, Phillip. Great job. You try to get it done here. If they win, he's going to be, obviously, like I said, just a quarterback until they're eliminated right now. Let's see what you have here in this one. All right, Seahawks win, Colts cover, says Andre. The Colts have a decent running game. You could say that again, right? And I agree. Look, 44 years old, these quarterbacks. Look at Tom. You look at Phillip. You see him out there. We saw the highlights, right? His arm strength was already shot there at the end. So, he's always thrown that high ball when he goes deep, though. Anyways, he has the timing of it down that a lot of quarterbacks just don't have, even if they don't have a strong arm. So, but I'm a Philip Rivers fan, just even from day one, when he was coming in there in San Diego as a rookie. We went out to UCSD to watch him out there, and I came away as someone who had been, I don't do it anymore, but we'd always go out to NFL practice in the preseason at UC San Diego, watch plenty of Chargers teams. And what I saw that day on the first, well, it wasn't, we went on day 2, but what I saw from Philip Rivers, we came away, my buddy and I, saying, wow, this guy is going to be an NFL. You're not going to say, and I don't know if Phillip's going to the Hall of Fame. I'm a Phillip fan. I don't know if he's going to the Hall of Fame. Never won the big one. The numbers are probably there, but it's borderline. I don't know if he's going to make it, actually. But I said at that time he is going to be awesome quarterback, and he obviously was. I mean, it's easy for me to say now, but trust me, we made Rivers shirts immediately after that and knew that we had our man. Right, Andre, they've had a great season, the Colts, a good season. I mean, there's going to be a disappointment here if they don't make it. Charbonnet here. Look, I think it's a neutral feeling for the Seahawks run game here. Cal Dog on the over. Seattle's due for a letdown maybe this week. JSN to have a big game here. Yeah. I'm all in on JSN props here in this game. All right, Colts on the points here for Cal Dog. All right, I know I touted the Bills and the Patriots as a game of the day. I think it still is, but this is a potential Super Bowl matchup here with the Packers taking on the Broncos. Here, these guys have played in the Super Bowl, right? I think there. And hey, Packers here, just a 1-point favorite on the road, total 42.5 with mean Denver defense here and the Packer defense as well. The Packer defense is, kind of what's been keeping them going as well. Now, the Packers do have concerns here, right? Let me fire up the injury report here. With the Packers run game, definitely have some concerns here coming in. Josh Jacobs, questionable here coming in. Also, and now Matthew Golden probable for the passing game. Jaden Reed in here. That's good news, but still just some concerns here with Green Bay's rushing attack with Jacobs. Wilson also had an injury designation this week. I think he was actually had an illness here, so that's kind of hurt the Packers here coming in, but more what's going to hurt the Packers is this Denver defense, man. They're really good, other than guarding tight ends. But you know what? Without Kraft, you got Musgrave. That's okay, but he really hasn't been doing too much. So I think the Packers offensively are going to really be kind of up against it here. And for Denver, I don't expect a lot of great offense out of them either from Bo Nixon crew. I don't think R.J. Harvey, I mean, even though he stepped up in here and emerged as a number one back, I mean, he's going to have to go alone here, it feels like. Who are you going to go with? You're going to go with Tyler Batty in there and Jaleel McLaughlin, who did look pretty okay. He had some touches in there, but Cortland Sutton, I got him as an average matchup here, but beyond that, I don't really like it at all for Denver here. I got to go under in this one. I think we got a grudge match here in this one with Denver and Green Bay. I'm going to take the under with these two. You got Green Bay's, dying 3-1, winners of 4 straight. I get all that, but they are coming in here right now with a 2-4 spread record on the road. Denver is a 3-1 ATS as a dog, if you really want to look at it that way, but more so Denver 2-4 to the under at home, 3-7 to the under in their last 10. Green Bay is 5-1 to the over on the road, but Denver's a special breed here defensively this season. Nick Benito to me is such a difference maker in there. Denver's won 11 straight games at home, 10 straight games overall. Green Bay has won 4 of their last 5. They beat Denver in 4 of the last 6 meetings, but not going to worry about that in an interconference game here. But give me the under here in this one with Green Bay and Denver.
Final.
Okay, chat has some plays here in this one. Let's see what you got. Broncos for Andre. He'll take the point. Do I have the old line? Do I have a bad line up there? Right now, guys, 2.5 you guys are putting up. I'm showing it as 1. Andre says his book has it at 2.5. Hufanga, I mean, these guys, right, love to go under in his passing yards. I have no problem with going under in his passing yards. Look, Dobbs probably has the best matchup of all of them, and it's still not great. Watson here, I don't know. I mean, you're going up against, the top of the top here pretty much. So, all right. Over for Andre, though. He likes it over. Hey, Green Bay, they've gone over in 5 of 6 on the road, and maybe Love can work it out here against this menacing Denver defense. I mean, Green Bay obviously is doing an incredible job scoring points in the last 4 games, averaging nearly 27 points per game. right now in these last 4 games. But Denver's done a nice job too on offense, although they played Kansas City, Washington, and Las Vegas the last 3 games, averaging 25 points in those 3 games. And Andre says Jacobs is hurt. Here's a big one here for the Panthers coming in, taking on the Saints. The Panthers are 7-6, but they smell blood in the water after the loss by the Buccaneers here. They can establish control here in the division, and they get the division's worst team to do it against. Now, the Saints have shown signs of life here with wins in 2 of their last 4 games, including that upset win at Tampa Bay last week. It was wet conditions, no excuses, but definitely was the volatility meter was up with the because you saw the field right there in Tampa Bay on Thursday night. It was a mess, right, because of what happened on the Sunday game there with the rain, and that's why it looked so bad. But it did help. I think the Saints in that game get the win 24-20. They also did beat Carolina 17-7 at Carolina, so you could put this one in the revenge-o-meter here. Saints have kind of owned the series, although Carolina did win at home last year in November. 23-22 is a 7-point dog. Carolina is 4-3 against the spread on the road. This is only the second time this season Carolina will be favored. New Orleans is 1-5 ATS at home, 4-7 ATS as an underdog. Bryce Young has done a nice job. You kind of look at the, I don't want to compare him to some of the quarterbacks that some of his contemporaries a little bit, but he's kind of outlasting them here a little. They've stuck with him, and maybe they've been rewarded. It's not a great matchup here for him, but when you got Ted McMillan, that gives you an automatic guy to go to every time, even if it's not the best matchup. And also, Xavier Legette did have a bad game last week, but this is going to be a good matchup for him. I think the Carolina Panthers know that this is the game. This is the one. If you cannot get this game, they might punt the division back to Tampa Bay. And I think this is going to be enough to motivate them here to the victory. It also looked to Jalen Coker here. He had 4 receptions and a touchdown last week, and I might even put him kind of over. I don't want to say over Legette, but I think the Panthers have 3 guys that they're going to be able to go to here this week and give New Orleans a little bit of fits. It feels like in this one. So Saints, I think it just turns out to be a little bit of revenge combined with maybe a team that knows that if they win this one, they can get the playoffs. As long as Bryce Young doesn't make any crucial mistakes, easier said than done, I guess. Any analyst or handicapper can say that. But all right, the Saints have gone under in 9 of 13 this season. They're 1-5 to the under at home so far, but watch out, man. The Panthers might have a good offensive day here. I got to take the Panthers in this one. Even laying 3 points, yeah, maybe you can money line it here, but I'm going to say they could win this one by 3 or more, and I'm going to take the Panthers to get it done and maybe, just maybe, snap the Buccaneers' reign in the NFC South, and Carolina will. You already got a coach in Dave Canales. It probably won't win Coach of the Year, but maybe he deserves it. All right, here we go. Saints QB will take off running. Tyler Shuck is who you're talking about. Once the pocket collapses, Shuck goes a running. You look at the Saints running game here. Devin Neal is the man. Now, he did have a great game against Tampa Bay last week with 84 total yards and a touchdown. But behind that estimate, that's the thing. You don't have Kamara in here right now. Chris Olave, mediocre matchup here. I've always prefer Olave. Let's see here. Cal Dog says over. Dowdle for a little TD.
Major line move.
for Carolina and Chuba as well. We'll see which guy gets most of the action because Chuba came in and had a great game there against the Rams, 17 carries for 83 yards, and Rico played second fiddle in that one. Over for Andre. 40 is too low. He says, he's got a 28-14. Wow, blowout. All right. You want some fireworks? I got them for you right here with the Lions coming in, taking on the Rams. And here the total's 55. It's probably not low enough coming in now. Look, the Lions, they're coming in off of a win. They've alternated wins and losses. You know what that means? They're probably going to get blown out of here. This is just the way the Lions seem to operate now. They really can't look at that like that because they're not in the playoffs here right now, and they do need to win for sure. They need to win to keep pace, with the Bears. We'll see. The Bears, we talked about it. I mean, they're favored there by a touchdown, but the Lions are going to be, an underdog, and the Bears are a favorite. So the Lions' backs are to the wall here. Meanwhile, for the Rams, they're battling with the pack for first place. They certainly would like to get that. And with this team, why wouldn't they? I mean, the team's looking great here right now. The Rams, maybe the best in the league. And a pretty good matchup for Stafford with Nakua. With probably, Adams, his status here. Look, let me see what his latest status is, because a little bit of concern here, certainly with the Rams here and Devontae. He is probable with that hamstring, so good news there. For Detroit here, Taylor Decker out. Questionable. Khalif Raymond, questionable. Awasika, questionable on the offensive line. We saw these guys, coming in the Lions with a really inexperienced line. My man Terrion Arnold went out last couple weeks ago after getting his first interception. The kid from Alabama, who's done a terrific job so far. Terrion Arnold, nephew of U.S. women's national team player Jordan Bugg. He looked good. So the injuries have continued here a little bit for Detroit, and I think they might actually be up against it here. If the Rams, feel like they need it, the Lions kind of get behind here a little bit. It could be an issue. Lions are 1-3 against the spread as an underdog this season. The Rams are 9-3 against the spread as a favorite. Rams come in off the win over the Cardinals. They beat them by 28 points after they lost that game, of course, on the road to Carolina. It doesn't look so bad now, even though they're a 10-point favorite and lost. But they won and covered against Tampa, won and covered against the Niners, beat the Seahawks, even though they didn't cover. Rams are 4-2 ATS at home, 7-3 ATS in their last 10 games. Rams have gone under in 5 of 6 at home here, but man, this one looks like it's going to have a lot of points in this one. So maybe that Rams defense can hold them down here a little bit. I'm just going to take the Rams to win and cover over the Lions and win it by more than a touchdown here. I'm taking the Rams in this one. Here's Andre likes the Rams money line. Puka Nakua. Nakua has an incredible matchup here. He's got to have one of the best matchups of any. I'd ramp him up here. He looks just outstanding out there, doesn't he? I think the Rams, I'm not calling them the greatest show on turf, but they kind of have the targets with when Adams is out there. Tough matchup for Parkinson here, but I like Stafford, Nakua. I'd even probably try to get a little. Devontae's out. Tutu Atwell also, I believe, has been activated from the injured reserve, so he will play in this game. Atwell will be returning to the lineup for the first time, I believe, since week 5 here. So I think he's going to be a sneaky play for sure. He might have to pass Whittington on the depth chart a little bit, but it feels like Whittington's going to get buried here, and I think Tutu Atwell might be the guy. If Adams has any designation at all, or if Adams is ruled out, um, Atwell I think will be the man to get with over Whittington here in this one, and I think the line will be pretty good actually. Give me the Rams. Okay, the Titans are going to go in and take on the 49ers. Now, I will say this. From watching the market activity, the sharps are really on the Titans here for sure. The line here is at 12.5. It's been mostly 12.5 here right now. Tennessee finally got a win there. They beat Cleveland, even though we end up all we could talk about was Sanders. Who got the win? It was Cam Ward and the Tennessee Titans there. We're getting the win and the cover. Don't look now. Tennessee is covered for their last 5 games overall. That's the sign of a team improving. San Francisco, meanwhile, they're covering spreads themselves. They beat Arizona by 19. They beat the Carolina Panthers by 11. They beat Cleveland by 20. Now, no CMC here. I think it does amount to a little bit of a respite here. Let me see here. I think maybe his status. Oh, you know what? No, he got moved to probable. My bad. I think today it might have been a little bit of injury report hijinks. Saw him move from questionable to probable. He's in. Wow. Okay, great. Pinero will kick as well here, and for Tennessee, man, come on. I don't. What are the sharps thinking here? The 49ers can beat these guys with their eyes closed here right now, can't they? I'm going to lay it with the Niners. I'm going to lay it. Give me the Niners here in this one. Niners are 6-2 against the spread as a favorite this season. Titans are 8-4 to the over as a dog coming in. Give me the Niners here in this one. I'm going to take San Francisco to club Tennessee here. Hey, good on Tennessee. We'll see if they can get 2 in a row here. I will say this, and again, these two teams only meet every 3 or 4 years right now, but Tennessee's 8-1-1 against the spread in their last 10 games against San Francisco. But you have to go a long ways to find all those matchups, believe me. Over the years. I mean, that is over 25 years of games. So I don't think there's that much to it. It just seemed like an interesting stat there. 8-1-1 between these two. This is the Titans' first visit to Santa Clara since 2017. So there you go. All right. Titans here also 0-9 against the spread. Their last 9 wins coming off of a win. So give me the Niners. All right, let's see what you guys have here in this one. Here, Kittle for a touchdown. Niner money line, but they don't cover. And CMC over in his receptions for Andre. Kittle over his receptions and yards. Niners are going to win by more than 10. Expect Brock to throw some inexplicable passing plays. Bring back Mac Jones. Niners will probably give some up. There's no doubt that because of the Niners' defensive inefficiencies, I think that could end up being a situation where you could see this one. It's, I don't want to say only 44, but, Tennessee that, has been involved here in some overs for sure. They've scored 24 against Seattle recently, 20 against the Chargers, 31 against Cleveland. I mean, I thought Cleveland had a great defense. Let's go to Sunday Night Football here with the Vikings taking on the Cowboys here tonight. And you got Cowboys favored here by 5.5 total, 47.5. You got Dak Prescott, of course, and the Cowboys 6-1. It's a huge game here right now with Dallas. We know, look, I mean, they're still way on the outside looking in here, but They are breathing here and need this win, or it's over. That's just all there is to it. The Vikings, meanwhile, they're toast. They're not out of it yet, but they are 5-8. They're still listed as a team that has a chance, but it's just a sliver. So the Cowboys definitely have the motivation here to perform. They've won 3 out of their last 4. Of course, did lose to Detroit, got clobbered pretty good in that game there on Thursday Night Football, 44-30, that snapped their 3-game winning streak, remember, including beating Philadelphia and Kansas City. So Dallas is looking pretty good. Minnesota won 31-0. They got a lot of load off their chest there with J.J. McCarthy and company. Remember, the offense was struggling, but they got to face a mediocre defense. The Vikings might be in trouble here, it feels like to me, but still, got to lay 5.5 here. But Dallas is 4-2 against the spread at home. Just 2-4. ATS is a favorite, but Minnesota 2-5. ATS as a dog here coming into this one for Dallas. They're 1-4 ATS their last 5 against Minnesota. Maybe they could be a team that kind of blows it in games like this, but like I said, I think when they got those defensive players back, I think that's what really made a big difference. Did they go up to Detroit and get it handed to them? Yes. Was Detroit, once they're on that where they lose and then they come back and beat the team beat whoever the next week? Yes. So I think Dallas can get off here in this one and beat Minnesota. I'm going to take the Cowboys to get a convincing victory here over the Vikings on Sunday Night Football. I think Dallas is playing much better. The defense playing dramatically better. They were just up against still a decent Detroit team last week. But I think here at home, look, they were able to beat Kansas City and Philadelphia in those 2 games. I think they can handle this one. Greg likes the Cowboys to win and maybe get the money there. And also, I think he likes it over as well. Andre says the Cowboys win, unfortunately. Andre says Vikings plus the points. And he says, don't forget that injury report, Ramon, with the CD in this one, and the Cowboys and how are they going to go about it here with their offense on Sunday night, given the status here of Lamb. But let me check on it because I thought Lamb was fine. Now you got me worried. I've got him as probable, so I hope my injury report is right. I do want to respect everyone in the chat for throwing some caution to the wind here, but I'm showing as of Friday before practice that he was listed as probable and went through it here. Let me get the details of his workout here in this one. He passed the league's concussion protocol, so he is actually off the official injury report heading into the game. It's a great matchup for the Vikings if you think about the Cowboys' numbers this season, but I would argue that once they got those 5 starters back on the defense, I wouldn't be judging too much from those numbers. Ferguson touchdown. Flournoy, not a great matchup for Flournoy, but geez, he was all world last week in that game, right? And of course, Pickens was picking his nose or something like that. He was terrible. Flournoy, 12 targets, 9 receptions, 115 yards. Let's hope Flournoy is the number 2 man. I mean, you're not going to disrespect Pickens to his face, but throw the ball to Flournoy. That's it for the NFL here. Thank you for 1 hour of football conversation on an important NFL Sunday. And let's go to, we've got NBA action here on Sunday with 8 games in the NBA here with the NBA Cup last night. So you got these leftover teams, I'll call them. You got to write in these games. Let's go to the top of the board. Here we go on Sunday. It's going to be The Washington Wizards. Oops, let me get that. There we go. The Washington Wizards are on the road taking on the Indiana Pacers. Pacers are favored here by 8 over the Wizards. Total here 232.5 here in this one. We've seen this one kind of move higher with the Pacers so far. In some shops, actually it's gone the other way here. All right, man, I don't know if Washington's going to have much for even Indiana here. Indiana's starting to come on here of late. Been covering some numbers, winning some games here. They beat Sacramento. They beat Chicago. Got the money. They did lose last time, of course, to Philadelphia on Friday night, but Washington's just been dismal. They've lost 4 straight here right now. They did cover against Cleveland, losing by 4 on Friday as a 16.5-point dog. It looked like they were going to upset them, but still gave it up in the end there in that one. Washington is 13-8 to the over as a dog. Indiana's 1-3 to the under as a favorite. Indiana's been a terrible favorite this year. They shouldn't even be favored in a lot of these games. Washington has been the team that has gotten the money in most of these. The Pacers are the team that's gotten the money in most of these games. Pacers are 8-5 against the spread at home. Washington 4-8 against the spread on the road. 7-14 against the spread as a dog. So didn't mean to say the wrong statistic there. I just was looking at them backwards, actually, because the two teams did meet back on November 28th, and Indiana won and covered 119-88 as a 6.5-point favorite. I think they can probably roll here against Washington. Washington, it seems like if they're coming off a decent effort, I don't expect them to come in here and have a decent effort against this one, only getting 8 points. But we can see what you have here with these two. Maybe the Washington here, who has lost 6 straight meetings against Indiana. Indiana's covered 8 of their last 11 overall. Washington 6-14 straight ATS here. So I'm going to go with Indiana to win and cover here over Washington. I'll try the Pacers here in this one. Pacers may be weak enough that maybe the Wizards will grab one here, but again, very dismal spread record overall, and Pacers are actually a covering team at home. Here we go. Hey, hello to Drac in the chat. Drac, hang tight. Hopefully bring some winners your way here on the morning steam. And don't worry, I've been staying up late my whole life handicapping these games. It's just what you do. Stay with the grind, work hard, and hopefully you'll have some winners on Sunday. Hopefully I'll have some advice at least for you to help you along the way. Andrew likes the Wizards plus the points. Greg is on. He likes the Pacers to win here. Timmy's going with the under. Greg says Washington's terrible. Yeah, they are. Wizards played the Cavs better than the Pacers, right? Wizards plus the points for Cal Dog. And maybe the Wizards will stay under 100, get that team total under, huh? Next up, the Charlotte Hornets are going to take on the Cleveland Cavaliers here on Sunday afternoon, 3:10 Eastern, 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific. Charlotte coming in with a 7-18 record. They've lost a couple in a row here to Denver and Chicago. For Cleveland here, they are coming in off of that win over Washington. They did not cover the spread. They've failed to cover the spread in 3 of their last 4 games coming in. We know Cleveland's one of the worst spread teams in the league. They're 4-11 against the spread at home, 7-16 against the spread as a favorite. Meanwhile, Charlotte is 11-10 against the spread, at least as a dog. Charlotte's covered 4 of the last 6 meetings between the two teams coming in. Cleveland's gone under in 9 of their last 13. Charlotte's gone under in 8 of their last 9. Cleveland's gone under in 8 of their last 9 at home. I'm going to go under in this one with Charlotte and Cleveland here. Look, as far as the side is concerned here, Yeah, you know what? Maybe just maybe it is a situation where Cleveland 10.5, man, they're not covering these numbers. Like I said, uh, dismal spread record here. And uh, with the total here, I mentioned some of those trends, right? You also have Charlotte 6-15 to the under as an underdog. So I'm going to go under with Charlotte and Cleveland here. All right, let's see here. Ball over in his assist. Knepel over in his PRA says Andre. And Timmy's going to go with the under here with me. Philadelphia 76ers will take on the Atlanta Hawks here on Sunday. The Hawks are, well, they're favored. Favored at home by 4.5 here against Philadelphia. Obviously, with this one, you got to check the injury report. You got here for Philly getting 5 points in the total, 226.5. Tyrese Maxey is out of this game, or well, he's doubtful right now, but it doesn't look good. He's just under the weather here, and Joel Embiid, he's questionable for this game, actually coming in. Atlanta here, Walker Alexander is questionable. Porzingis is out. Jacob Toppin is out. And Folly Dante is out. So yeah, you got some key pieces on both teams missing this game here on Sunday. Still Atlanta, 5.5 point favorite. Philadelphia has been the better cover, but can they find the players in there without their super Maxey? Maxey is a star. Again, let's be real here. But also, if Embiid does miss the game, another game or whatever, but total here 226.5. Atlanta is 7-5 to the over as a favorite. Philadelphia 5-4 to the over as a on the road. These two teams did meet on November 30th. Atlanta won at 142 to 134 in a wild one, but how will that fare if you don't have the big time scoring of Maxey here, who obviously puts up big numbers. Maxey with a 31.5 points per game scoring average. It looks like he's not in this game. I got to go under right away. I'm just going to go under with Philadelphia and Atlanta. I think that's a major factor here. Now, Philadelphia 7-1-1 against the spread on the road. Maybe they're getting enough points here. We know in the other roles here, maybe it's a little bit better, but give me the under here to be sure. But still, Philly, a pretty solid cover, one of the best road covers in the league so far this season. All right. Andre likes Maxey to go over in his points. Well, at least there'll be a refund. Timmy likes the under here. VJ over in his points, says Andre, and Greg has this one right on the line. Or that's his projection anyway. We know that sometimes Greg makes a pick. Oops, I got the right game there. Yeah. All right, the Bucks are going to be on the road taking on the Nets here. The Bucks coming in 11-15. They are in here off of a win over Boston. It was a good win for them for sure. But Brooklyn's been okay here of late. They beat New Orleans. They beat Chicago. They beat Charlotte. Losses to Utah and Dallas, but they're at home here. Basically in a pick'em situation. Total here 219.5. Of course, Milwaukee will still be coming in here a little bit shorthanded without Giannis here, but Cam Thomas is out for Brooklyn, so missing some key parts here, but also AJ Green out for Milwaukee in this one. Milwaukee's been doing terribly here. I'm probably just going to take Brooklyn. You got Milwaukee 3-8 straight up on the road, and Brooklyn only has a 2-10 record at home. Brooklyn has won 5 games as an underdog this season. These two teams are pretty steady under here right now, with Brooklyn 10-13 to the under as a dog. They've gone under in 6 of their last 7 at home. They've gone under in 9 of their last 11 overall. Milwaukee's gone under in 7 of their last 9. I'll take Brooklyn, but I think the under is a good look here too, probably. But even at 219, two teams met on November 29th. It was 116-99. Milwaukee got the win and the cover as an 11-point favorite. Here is Porter Jr. for a little action there for Timmy Two-Shoe. Can't trust the Bucks, can't trust anybody, right? And let's see here. Spread is too low, says Greg. All right, the Pelicans are going to take on the Bulls here Sunday night with the Bulls favored by 4.5. Total 243.5. This one's at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. New Orleans coming in 4-22, but hey, they won last time out over Portland at home. Crushed them by 23. Meanwhile, Chicago finally got a win to snap their losing streak as well as they beat Charlotte 129-126. New Orleans has been the better cover this season. They're 15-10 against the spread overall. Meanwhile, Chicago just 2-10-1 as a favorite. So even as a 4.5-point favorite, how can you trust these guys right now? Chicago's gone under in 7 of 11 at home. 8 of 13 as a favorite have gone under. New Orleans has trended over for the most part, but on the road 5-6 to the under coming in here, and that total is pretty high after all. New Orleans, cover machine here at this point. You can say what you want about them with this terrible record, but punters are pretty happy. Final. Not only that, they've covered 6 of the last 8 meetings between the two teams overall. Chicago's lost 7 of 8. New Orleans has lost 16 of 18, but that 6-1 spread record in their last 7 games against overall, and Chicago just 2-9 in the last 11. I got to take New Orleans here. Final. Take the points plus 4.5 in this one. I'm going to take the Pels to cover. And we've got here, look at this. I mean, Greg's got it as an upset. He's got the wrong team as favored, says Greg. Oops, I think I missed one here. Yeah, can't forget the Lakers. Okay, this one has seen some dramatic movement here since over the last 2 hours, 90 minutes to 2 hours here with the Lakers on the road here against the Suns. Mostly personnel related here, possibly, as we get the injury report here and know that Austin Reeves, I think we all know he's out now. He's going to be out for a little bit here, a couple weeks for sure with that calf strain. But Devin Booker also questionable in this game. Dylan Brooks questionable. Isaiah Livers is questionable here. So Maxi Kleber is out for the Lakers. So we've seen this one move here a little bit with the Suns coming in 14-11. Lakers come in 17-7. These two teams did meet back on December the 1st, and the Suns won at 125-108 in a big boy win on the road at the Lakers. Phoenix is 9-3 against the spread at home. The Lakers are 9-4 against the spread on the road. So tough game here, good game here, but the Lakers is a road favorite, and that spread is moving. You could argue that missing Reeves is, I don't want to say just as important as Luka or LeBron. We've seen them without those guys here of late, but man, Phoenix just beat them. Will the Lakers, do they feel like the type of team that goes out and gets revenge when they need it? Or they just win the games that they're supposed to win? And are they even supposed to win this game? The Suns are 4-8 to the under at home. Lakers are 6-7 to the under on the road, but the Lakers have gone over in 7 of their last 8 games coming in. I'm just going to take the Phoenix Suns here to win this one over the Lakers. Give me the Suns on Sunday night. All right, and let's see if the chat has anything here in this one. Greg says Phoenix is tough at home, and he likes them here to win this game by 4 or in a slide over. Andre says Lakers money line and over. One more late game here. It's going to be the Warriors taking on the Trailblazers, and the Warriors are favored on the road by 4.5 here. Look, Warriors are 13-13. They did lose that game on Saturday night with Minnesota 120-127. It went back and forth, but Minnesota pulled away late. The Warriors had back-to-back wins over Cleveland and Chicago before that. Portland, meanwhile, 3 straight losses, 2 straight non-covers against Minnesota and New Orleans here, but still Portland, one of the best underdogs in the league, 12-4 ATS. Golden State 8-8 ATS as a favorite. And you have a Warriors team coming in here just 3-6 in their last 9 against Portland overall, despite the fact that they've won 9 of the last 11 meetings. Portland's just 1-6 straight up in their last 7, but have covered 4 of the last 6 games coming in. Warriors are 15-11 to the over this season. Portland's 16-9 to the over, including 6-3 to the over at home coming into this one. But feels like the Warriors here in this series right now, Portland has won the last 2 meetings between the 2 teams. I got to grab Portland here plus the points in this one. I think I missed a game in there. Let me see what's going on here. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. The Kings are taking on the Timberwolves here. Timberwolves by 10.5, total 230.5. Here in this one, the Kings have dropped 2 straight losses to Denver and Indiana. Kings are a dismal cover here, 7-15 against the spread as a dog, but Minnesota's 7-13 against the spread as a favorite. It's a lesser of 2 evils, it feels like, in this matchup. Who can cover? Minnesota is winning, but they're not covering, although they did cover against the Warriors in that game. They lost at home to Phoenix. They didn't cover in a win against the Clippers. They didn't cover in a couple of the wins against New Orleans. They're one of the worst spread teams as a favorite this season, going up against one of the worst spread teams as an underdog. Maybe I'll look to the total here in this one with the Kings and the Timberwolves. You got the Kings here have gone under in 4 of their last 5 games coming in. Wolves are 5-7 to the under at home. Kings won the last meeting 117-112 at Sacramento, but Minnesota won at home 124-110 as the home team has won and covered in both of the previous meetings so far this season. I'm going to take the under here with Sacramento and Minnesota here in this one. The last one went 229, and the previous one was 234. We're looking at 231.5 here. I'm going to take the under with the Kings and the Wolves on Sunday night. All right, Greg likes let's see here. Andre likes the Timberwolves on the money line. Greg says he's got it here. Oh, he likes Minnesota. Let me see here. Yeah, he likes Minnesota there, but not to cover. Minnesota favored by double digits. He's got it by 7. Greg says they play better on the road. And that's a look at the basketball, NBA style. I got one game in college basketball I'll look at here real quick. Really weak schedule in college basketball on Sunday. And hey, you got NFL you're going to be mostly concerned with, but I'll probably have a package of games actually in college basketball. But let me preview the best game of the day for sure, and it's between St. Mary's will take on Boise State here on Saturday. And the game of the day in college hoops, got St. Mary's coming in here, looking pretty strong right now. Good record coming in, 9-1. Boise 7-3 here at the Extra Mile Arena this season. Boise here won three straight with wins over Chaminade, Butler, and Duquesne. They covered against Butler. They covered against Duquesne. St. Mary's, meanwhile, also looking pretty good. They're 6-2 against the spread as a favorite. They just covered 70-61 on the road as a favorite at Dayton, winning by 9, covering 8.5. Yeah, they failed against Vandy, but pretty good team that they won and covered at home against Virginia Tech. They failed against Wichita and they failed against Arkansas State, except they did win those games. Boise is 2-7 to the under so far this season, 1-6 to the under at home right now, but I don't know, man. Against St. Mary's down here at 137, I have my suspicions here in this one, and I'm going to go over actually in this matchup. I'm going to go against the trends here. I'm going to go over in St. Mary's and Boise State. The two teams did meet last year, 67-65. Boise got the win as a 2.5-point dog here at the Extra Mile Arena. They also won the year before here, 63-60. So yeah, both teams did go under this number, but I'm going to go over here right now with these two. St. Mary's has had a few overs here of late. They went over in that Vandy game. They went over against Arkansas State. I'm going to go over in this one. St. Mary for Timmy Tushu. Andre's on St. Mary's money line. And I think that's going to do it for the basketball. We got a lot of games, so I hope we don't mind. Just not too many. Washington State at USC, pretty nice game there. 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. Although Washington State does not have a good record there, and it's not a conference game. It's an old Pac-12 game there. And there's some other okay matchups here, but a lot of them are regional. Troy and UAB, pretty good game. Let me go to the hockey here. Oh, great. Quick revenge there. Let me go to the hockey here. We're coming off a pretty good night here on Night Moves on Saturday with the action in the National Hockey League. We had a few winners here along the way last night, including the Minnesota Wild over Ottawa. We brought that one home. We had the Sharks as an underdog over Pittsburgh, right? We had the under in the Lightning and the Islanders. We had the over with the Canadiens and the Rangers. We had the Golden Knights over the Blue Jackets last night. We had the Hurricanes over the Flyers. I know they were favored, but we had them there. So, yeah, we brought home a few winners there with the early card, at least on Night Moves yesterday. Let's look at the games here tonight. There are 6 games on the hockey card. We'll start it off here with the Canucks are taking on the Devils here on Sunday. This one does go off at 12:37 Eastern, 9:37 a.m. Pacific, with the Canucks going to be an underdog on the road here against New Jersey. But look out. I mean, New Jersey's kind of struggling here of late. Yeah, they're coming in off of a win over Anaheim. They also beat Ottawa 3 games back. But Vancouver, we know they've had certain struggles, but they are 7-7 as an underdog here this season. I kind of want to give them a big shot here, actually, in this one to I think at plus $1.15. I might be on Vancouver here against New Jersey. I don't doubt that New Jersey here still 18-13-1, having won 2 of their last 3. Vancouver is just 11-17-1. They're one of the worst teams in the league here, but I don't know. Here on Sunday, I'm apt to want to take a dog here in this one. And Vancouver, the fact that they, did play pretty well against Buffalo here on Friday night, losing 3-2. I want to give them a shot here. I have Lankinen in there. Talk that it could be Demko. Talk it could be Allen here right now. But with it unsure, I'm taking Vancouver in this one plus $1.15. Um, I'm gonna take the Canucks here over the Devils in this one on Sunday night. For Vancouver here, they have a one. Let me get this right here. Stand by here. Okay. Just want to make sure I got the trends here a little bit. Okay, so Vancouver has won 2 of the last 3 meetings between the two teams, including 2 straight meetings here, winning last year here 4-3, and winning the previous year here 6-4. So, uh, look, when it comes to those type of trends, these are ones that just have a little bit more validity to me. Now, look, Devils have won 16 of the last 19 meetings between the two teams, but New Jersey's lost 5 of their last 6 at home, 6 of their last 8 overall. Vancouver doesn't have a whole lot to hang their hat on, other than the fact that they're, beat Minnesota here recently, and like I said, have won the last 2 meetings. But I'm going to take them here in this one. I'm taking Vancouver. Greg's got the Devils. Drew says Canucks, puck line, and money line. DeBrusque, 8 anytime goal here. Utah Mammoth on the road here against the Pittsburgh Penguins. The Penguins have fallen apart here all of a sudden. I mean, things were going good. I mean, what's going on? You're 14 wins. Then they want to get in this trade. I mean, maybe the Oilers dangled enough in front of them, but you did deal. Tristan Jarry has been pretty darn good. Utah's lost 3 of their last 4, but they're coming in off of a win over Seattle, 5-3 at home, but hitting the road here. Utah, not terrible, 7-10 on the road, but Pittsburgh 6-5 at home so far this season. Utah just 2-12 their last 14 trips here, but Pittsburgh has lost 6 of their last 7 at home. They've lost 4 of their last 5 overall. They have owned this franchise, talking about the Utah/Arizona, winning 9 of their last 10 here. But I'm going to take another look. Utah is actually favored in this game at $1.30. So I think that's a sign here a little bit, if you know what I mean. I'm going to go ahead and take Utah in this one. Utah did win their meeting here last year 6-1. They've actually won 2 of the last 3 meetings between the two teams, and I'm going to take another road team here. I'm going to take Utah over Pittsburgh on Sunday. All right. Penguins for Timmy Two Shoes. Greg says the Penguins just flat out cost him there in that game on Sunday night, losing to the Sharks. So, yeah, I'm going to come back in here on the Mammoth here in this one. Utah for Andre. Greg says Pittsburgh 4-3. All right, the Flyers are taking on the Hurricanes here on Sunday. The Hurricanes going to be a 225 favorite, total 5.5 over 20. Hurricanes are 29-2, winners of 3 straight. Flyers, meanwhile, have lost 2 straight to Carolina and to VGK, but the Flyers have been ultra competitive. They're in every game. They're just not coming through. Meanwhile, Carolina had to work hard just to beat Philadelphia and Washington here. I think the Flyers can definitely stay in this game. They're 17-4 as a puck line underdog this season. Carolina is 10-18 as a puck line favorite here. So Philadelphia's lost 7 straight meetings to Carolina. 6 of the last 9 meetings between these two teams have gone under. Carolina's also won 6 of the last 7 meetings at home between these two teams. But like I said, Philadelphia pretty good there. 17-4 as a puck line dog here. Give me Philadelphia in this one on the puck line against Carolina here. The minus 225 on Carolina. Gives Philadelphia a decent shot here on this line at plus 1.5 minus $1.35. I'm going to take Philly on the puck line in this one. All right, and hey, good to see Ronnie Elston in the chat. Man, it's good to see Ron in the chat right there. And look at who's here. Man, Teflon Don is here. Teflon Don is here. He's talking about the Penguins and that rough effort there last night. And who else is here? Cal Dog says they let the Sharks come back. Tom Regard likes the Penguins. Ron, great to see you. Great to see you, Ronnie Elston in there. Islanders came through. Great to see you, Ronnie. Final. All right. Let's see. Flyers here for Andrew. Greg says 4-3 Flyers. Doesn't trust those Canes. Cal Dog on the Flyers here. Timmy Tushka says Aho and Svechnikov were nowhere to be found. Okay, gotcha. And let's see here. Teflon Don says, how about the Canes in 60 minutes? I can't do it. I'm going to take Philly in this one, even though they never beat this team. In fact, they just played the other night. What was the score on that one? It was last night, right? That much I can figure out. Yeah, so they're turning around and playing in Carolina. Okay, I got you there. I think you guys were saying in the chat, right, that the result there last night of this particular matchup. What was it? It was 4-3, right? 4-3 Carolina. Yep. All right. Bussy has been money. Bussy, huh? Look at that. For the Hurricanes, Tom Regard on the Flyers on the puck line. Timmy Chushu says good enough. Canes can be good enough to get the puck line. Greg says, bet against the Flyers and they'll win. Me too. Whenever I went with the Flyers, I lose. When you take them, they win. Or no, vice versa. Cal Dog says 4-3 in a shootout. Someone's going to win. Timmy Juice says it's going to be 3-1 or 4-1. I assume you guys are talking about the favorite, or at least Timmy is. A couple more here, and it's going to be a great night here on Night Moves. Thank you for joining me. How about the Bruins taking on the Wild here? Boston on the road. They're going to be a dog here. They're 19-13 coming in. Minnesota 18-9-5 for the Wild. They're coming in here off of a win over Ottawa last night, 3-2. They got it done. And they're 10-3 at home so far this season. Boston, meanwhile, 17-11 as an underdog, one of the best underdogs in the league. And Minnesota is 7-8 as a favorite here, and that's interesting, right? That means they've been in a home underdog a little bit here this season. Minnesota comes in here, consecutive wins over Seattle, Dallas, and Ottawa coming into this one. Minnesota, they are 6-9 to the under as a favorite, but Boston's 16-12 to the over as a dog. Coming into this one, Boston has won 5 of their last 6 coming in, but Minnesota's won 6 of their last 7 at home. Minnesota's gone under in 12 of their last 16 games right now coming in. Let's see what you guys have in this one. This one feels a little bit tougher for me, so I want to hear what you have to say with Boston and Minnesota here tonight. And it's going to be the Bruins for Timmy Chushu. And Andre says, take the Wild. Cal Dog is on the Wild here. Hey, there's Zach Rossi in the chat. Hi, Zach. He's on the Wild. You know Timmy's all over geeky. He can't stop. Can't stop. 3-2 Wild. And Blackhawks there. Yeah, they've kind of given some back there a little bit. Okay. Boston puck line for Andre and Pasta for an assist, says Timmy Two Shoe. All right, I got to make my call here in this one with Boston and Minnesota. Like I said, I think the thing for me is you got a Boston team here that is 17-11 as an underdog. Minnesota 7-11 as a favorite. Give me Boston here in this one on the road. I've got all road teams on Sunday. Uh-oh. Tom Regard says, take the Wild. Oh, that one's going to go for 6. Cricket, anyone? Okay, here are the Oilers. They're on the road. Is it going to be Picard? We saw, great job there to get in there on Sunday for new Edmonton goaltender Tristan Yarry. He got the win 6-3, but probably going to go to Picard here in this one on back-to-back games here. Edmonton 15-11-6, Montreal 16-11-4. Is the total really 6 under 15? This total should be 7. Come on. Yarry's not in. Picard is in. Dobish is in. Dobbs has been, is he in? Who knows? Is Montembeault in? Whatever the case may be, they've been terrible. Fowler was in there yesterday, and he was giving it up also. So Canadians haven't fixed anything. You got to go over in this one. This one should be 7. Have we even seen a 7 this year? How is this 6.5 under? Montreal's 12-4 to the over this season. Edmonton's 19-13 to the over, although there are 9 up and 9 overs and 9 unders on the road, but still, these two teams met. Last game was 6-5. Edmonton got the win. So, man, this is going to be 7 all the way. This is one of my favorite games of the night for sure. I'm taking the over here with Montreal and Edmonton. I don't mean to just rush it here a little bit. We can cover some of the numbers, but Edmonton's gone over in 4 of their last 5. Montreal's gone over in 10 of their last 12 games at home. They've also gone over in 15 of their last 20 games overall. We know these Canadian teams have been going over here all fall here, at least for the last 2 months. It feels like right now. Montreal just went over in that game against the Rangers in a 5-4 loss. Meanwhile, Edmonton was 6-3 against Toronto. Give me the over in this one. You better believe it. If it's Picard, you got to go over, says Timmy Two Shoe. Andrew here on the Canadians. And let's see here. Greg says, who won that game last night? Who did win that game last night between the Rangers and the Oilers, right? I mean, it came down there to a wild game, but the Rangers won it 5-4. I think that's what he meant, right, over the Canadians? Yes, 5-4. Yes, 5-4. Canadians got the win there, or the Rangers got the win there last night. Rangers won it. I'm going over. All right, Greg here says 4-3 Oilers. There it is. I've got one more here, and what a great show. Thank you, everybody, for spending nearly 2 hours. Here was 2 hours of sports betting talk with me. I feel so fortunate that I have 4 dozen of you here still sticking through here in the middle of the night, checking me out here. I'm trying to watch a little Big Bash cricket. Little Big Bash cricket here in the middle of the night. If you're familiar with the Big Bash League, got the Perth Scorchers and the Sydney Sixers going here. It's probably my favorite league of all. Okay, of all cricket leagues. Okay, Buffalo here in Seattle. Buffalo's won 2 straight. They're hot. Buffalo with wins over Edmonton and Vancouver. They're on the northwest swing. They've been on this road trip a long time, but they're finding some gumption here a little bit with these 2 wins. We know Seattle's been awful as well. They're in a big time slump too. Now Buffalo's 4-9 straight up on the road. Seattle is at least 7-5 at home, but Seattle's 9-15 straight up as an underdog here, and I feel like Buffalo's got a little bit of momentum right now. I know that they did play a couple of nights ago, did Buffalo, and beat Vancouver, but they've had a couple of days off here before this departure game, and I like them. I'm taking them to beat Seattle in this one. Give me Buffalo here. Buffalo won here in Seattle back in March of 24, 6-2. First meeting this season was in Seattle here. Or I'm sorry, the second meeting, the regular season meeting here in Seattle last year was won by Seattle, but I'm going with Buffalo here. They're actually favored in this one at minus $1.20, so I'm going to take them though here. Buffalo is 9-6 to the over on the road, but Seattle is 4-11 to the under at home. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Sabres here to win this one on the late game. Seattle's lost 7 of their last 8. Buffalo, they've lost 7 of 8 meetings here in Seattle, and they've lost 10 of their last 14 on the road. But Seattle's struggling here, and Buffalo actually showing some life with 2 straight wins. I'll take them in a third straight game. Give me Buffalo. Sabres for Cal Dog. Buffalo for Greg. And Andre says take the Kraken. This has been, I will give you that. It has been a long trip for Buffalo for sure. But I think they found something here. All right, that's going to do it for the show. Hey, make sure you go over to Tony'sPicks.com and check out our premium picks over at Tony's Picks. I'll be coming in with some winners here on Sunday. I'm going to go with a prop package for the late game. I'll have some other games as well for a great card on Sunday. Check me out over at Tony'sPicks.com and use the promo code TonyT at checkout to save 15% off all premium pick packages. Take a look at the handicapper leaderboards and see who's hot on Saturday. We had some great cappers here making a big strides. Ron went 5-2. Alessandro had a win there on Saturday as well. And I'm up there in the last 30 days, hanging out there up 6 3/4 units. So check me out over at Tony'sPicks.com. I'll have some winners here. Had a rough night on the UFC here, but did win with Northern Iowa and Oakland game to go under. I also had Mariston Bryant over, and I had Robert Morris there. So pretty much a small loser there on the day, but I'm going to bring it back here on Sunday. So make sure you check me out and use that promo code TonyT at checkout. Save 15% off all premium pick packages from me or the other handicappers over at Tony's Picks. All right, that's going to do it here for Night Moves. Really appreciate everyone hanging in here with me for 2 hours of sports talk. I just keep on talking until we're all done. Thank you, everybody. Make sure you tune in to the Tony's Picks morning show tomorrow, 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific. Tony has his panel going over all the games for an NFL Sunday, so should be a pretty awesome day here on the Tony's Picks YouTube channel or Tony'sPicks.com. I'm Ramon Scott. So long from Night Moves.